If you're getting bored with 3D printing or just want a fun project to do that's going to take a little bit of time and more than just printing it out and then putting it on yourself, stay tuned for this video because I'm going to show you a really cool project that I did and think that you guys should try it out as well. And that is the winter castle with the summer pack option from Fulv. If you guys haven't heard of Fulv, check out his models. He's got a lot of really cool stuff. I did his haunted house earlier just for a personal project for my wife. Also planning on doing the haunted hill one. But in this video, I wanted to really try this castle. I thought that looked really cool. And with it being summer, I figured why not try the summer pack. And I do want to give a huge thank you to Polymaker for sponsoring this project by providing the filament because yeah, it took a lot of filament. So again, a big thank you to Polymaker for making this happen because this is, as you can see, a lot of filament. Now you don't have to go out and purchase all this filament, but I do highly recommend using Polymaker because that is also what Fulv made these models using is Polymaker filament just because they have a ton of different colors and their stuff comes out really great. As you can see here, I went pretty much with the same color scheme that Fulv did just because I like his models and I'm really indecisive on choosing colors. So that way I didn't have to choose any colors. I just went off the stuff that he already did and pretty much used most of these colors here. I've been using a lot of Polymaker's PLA and it comes out great and it came out great in this project, which you will see. Now obviously filament's expensive, so you don't have to go out and buy every single color. If you do have some laying around, some of these you're only going to use for a couple small parts. So if you do have some of those colors laying around or something similar, go ahead and just use those instead of having to buy a full roll. But the ones that you do want to focus on are the ones that you're going to be printing the actual body of the castle out because that took a little more than 2 rolls of filament. So definitely recommend getting at least 3 rolls for whatever main body color you guys are going to use for the castle. And I also want to thank Fulvio for sending me the file to make this happen so I can show you guys and work with Polymaker. As you'll see, he does put a lot of thought into these models. It is not something that he just puts together. He spends months and months on each one to make it the most easiest and enjoyable to print out on our end. And you'll be amazed with the amount of detail to this project. He definitely put a lot of heart and soul into this thing and really even focused on a lot of the small stuff, which makes this project really cool and fun to print out. So I got this model on Colts 3D and went to his page right here. You can see at Fulv, and he's got a bunch of cool stuff on here. But I went ahead and did the Christmas model. So you'll select that, and this is the biggest one. He does have a smaller version of this, but I wanted to print the big one. So I went ahead and selected that. You just select that, download it, and then you'll take it to your cart. But then you'll also want to make sure that you purchase the summer pack for this as well, which is sold separately, which is right here. So you just click on the summer pack, download that as well, and then you'll have both winter and summer pack. And you can change back and forth between each one if you want to, or even print off 2 if you get really crazy. And then that way you'll have the winter and summer options available. So once you check out, they will be available in your download section, and then you'll just hit download, and then you'll get a bunch of different files that you'll be able to choose from. You do have STL files if you're running something like Orca Slicer or something similar, but if you are like me and are using Bamboo Studio, he does have a project file for Bamboo Studio, which makes it really easy. And then he also has PDF files, which we'll get to here in a second because you'll want to reference those as well. Once you have everything downloaded, you'll have your project file here and then the PDF files. PDF files are going to give you all the instructions that you need to, and you can tell again he went through and provided as much details to make this as easy as possible to print out. So he does have a project list here to where you can see the picture of the model. Now this is the Christmas version if you want to do that one as well, but you'll be able to see what color filaments that you'll need for the main castle. But it's really nice that he provides all the colors for the different parts that you're going to need so you can budget accordingly or see what you already have at home in stock and use those colors as well. And then he also gives you some recommendations for the lights to light up this castle. And you don't need to have an AMS system to print this off, even though there's a lot of different colors. He has a color change worksheet here that will tell you when to put the different stops on your printer so you can change the colors manually. And then he has really detailed instructions in a PDF file if you want to do that, whether you want to have it pulled up on the screen once it comes time to put this together or print these off as well. But the coolest part of the instructions, it also comes with an interactive model. So basically it takes the PDF and makes it interactive and a little bit easier to follow here. So you can see we can just click on the summer pack and you'll be able to view everything in 3D, which is really cool. Once you have everything downloaded and your colors picked out, it is time to start printing. Now there are a lot of build plates, but that also kind of makes this really fun. It took me about 2 weeks or so with my printers. I have 2 Bamboo Lab A1s and 1 A1 Mini, and those were running pretty constant printing these out. But then I ended up getting my Elegoo Century Carbon, so I put that to work as well. Since that's single color right now, I was just having that print off the main castle bodies. and that thing handled it like a champ. Now he makes this as easy as possible in the actual slicer program. You can see he has everything labeled to what colors you need to do if you're following his color scheme. So you can see here, this is obviously going to be silk gold. This right here is just part of the winter pack, so if you're not doing that, just ignore it. But then in the multicolor ones, he's got everything you need for that multicolor print. And that way you can just load up your AMS system with those colors and go right to print. And here's an example with the first level of the castle. You can see everything laid out perfectly. And anything that's a single color, he has that on a separate build plate. And those are typically ones that I also use for the A1 Mini. Anything that was small enough, I just threw that to the A1 Mini. That way I can use my AMS system on my 2 Bamboo Labs for the multicolor prints. And the best thing about printing these are no supports needed whatsoever. And everything comes out great unsupported, which is really nice because there's nothing worse than trying to remove tree supports from a project and it making a little bit of a mess or even being difficult to remove and just not coming out right. Everything printed off beautifully with no supports, which was amazing. All right, so I have all the parts printed off and laid out here. You can see there's quite a bit of stuff that we're going to have to put together, but everything came out great. No complaints with any of the parts whatsoever. And the cool thing is no supports were used, but this is going to take quite a bit of time to put this together. So we might as well get started. And then we are going to start here with the summer pack and start putting this base together along with the summer trees and flowers and everything. And I'm just going to be using some regular Gorilla Glue. And then I'm going to be sitting here using both the interactive model up here on the big screen, and then I'll have the PDF version on the lower screen so I can reference both of those. But really cool setup on how he has multiple ways to do the instructions. You can also print off the PDF and have that as well. But let's go ahead and get all these pieces here assembled, starting with the summer pack. And this is just so you can see the interactive model here. You can turn it 360 degrees, which is really cool. And then as you can go skip around all the steps or go back if you need to, and then just go through here and it'll kind of tell you all the parts that you need and everything labeled here. And we'll start here. All right, so for this LED strip, I just ran this up through here, twisted around, up and around again a couple times to where it's coming out the bottom. And I left enough length here to where the plug can come out the back of the thing here. So see if that works. That was a pretty long strip of LED lights, but should be pretty bright right there. And then again, just enough to where I can plug in the cord through this little window back here. So we're finally at the point where we are ready for final assembly. Yeah, this thing is much bigger than I thought it was going to be. Now, I don't think the camera is going to do this thing any justice, but this thing came out amazing. Like, all the attention to details is just there. It is crazy how detailed he went. From the stained glass windows to the floors to the fuzzy skin on the plants here, and just the brick and stone look on the actual castle itself. This thing came out amazing. Every time I show somebody this, like, oh my God, that thing is amazing. And it is big. Like, I don't know if you can tell how big this is. This thing is large, which is, I get why he came out with the mini version. Now, I just have the LED strip light inside the main body here. You can add little cup lights to the towers, which I plan on doing. They just haven't arrived yet. But this thing is just really freaking cool. So this is the summer pack, but I went ahead and printed out the winter pack just to have that as well. So let's take a look at that. All right, so I got most of the winter pack put together. I don't have all of the snow caps printed off yet, still have those going, but got a couple of them so you get the gist. There are snow caps for all these toppers here, and then you just kind of swap out these little guys for these ones here that go in there. And then obviously the lanterns swap out for the trees and plants and everything, and got little snow piles on the actual different levels. And then a Christmas tree here in the middle to where you can actually put TLED lights underneath the trees and light those up. Or you can also print these out in a glow type color, so that way they kind of glow in the dark for a cool effect. So once it comes winter, I'll definitely be switching this over to the winter castle because this thing is really cool. And literally it's just picking up the whole base. And you can see I just took it off of the summer base pack over here, lifted it up, set it back down on the winter one, and that's it. So if you guys are looking for a fun project to take up some of your time and give you something to do, I highly recommend doing one of these. Again, you can do this in any color you want to, but he really thinks about how things are gonna look, especially with the stained glass windows and things like that. So the colors that he picked out, he put a lot of thought into, but you can try out any different colors that you want to. Again, you don't have to buy every single one because you can see like the lanterns and stuff like that. Only a little bit of the filament is used, so anything you have laying around to substitute for, you can. But definitely highly recommend using polymaker for the main parts of this because it does turn out really nice. Just the quality of their PLA plus the model itself, everything came out great. And even if a castle isn't your thing, he's got plenty of other models to choose from. You really can't go wrong with any of the stuff that he picks. Each one comes with detailed instructions and even a material list on what you need to do. And it's really great, at least for me, that he's got everything kind of preloaded in Bamboo Studio to make it that much easier. But I was able to kind of import everything into Orca Slicer once I got my Elegoo Centuri Carbon. Everything worked out great. So again, I do want to thank Polymaker for sending the filament to do this project for you guys, and Fulvio for sending me the file to print this off for you as well. I will leave a link in the description below to his Colt 3D page, so you can go directly to that to all his different models, so you can check those out as well. If you guys like this content, feel free to hit that like and subscribe button so you can follow me on my journey 3D printing and running a 3D print business, which is now kind of turning into a print farm. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video.